Good day, everyone. Pasay Baller here. We are now in this third game for today, January 26, 2023. We are now in this third game. This will be between Detroit Pistons and um, uh, Brooklyn Nets, and that will be at around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's going to be 8:30 a.m. here in Manila. And I'm just inviting everyone who have not subscribed yet to our YouTube account or YouTube channel, Pasay Baller. Please click on the subscribe button below. At the same time, hit on that bell logo. That way, automatically, you guys will be receiving notifications whenever new videos are uploaded. And the spread that is given, it's -9, and that's actually given towards the home team, the Brooklyn Nets. And before we proceed, let's check on the standings and the rankings of both teams, both belonging to the Eastern Conference. For Brooklyn Nets, they are at number 4 with a record of 29 wins and 18 losses, while for Detroit Pistons, man, they are dead last at number 15 with a record of 12 wins and 37 losses. Okay, so Brooklyn Nets, they would have the home court advantage on this. But in terms of fatigue, we got to give it to Detroit Pistons because they are well rested. While not only that, Brooklyn Nets also had a game last night. And that game was actually tough, They were down by a huge margin, but they were able to keep it close. And then they eventually lost that game. So it was a tiring game for them for sure. And they would go back-to-back games and back-to-back nights. So obviously the advantage should go towards Detroit Pistons. Now, in terms of momentum, both teams are coming off losses, but Detroit Pistons they are approaching this game on a 4-game losing slump. While again, Brooklyn lost last night. So let's check on the forms, perhaps. In terms of the forms, both teams ain't really looking good, both of them. For Detroit Pistons, they just won twice out of their last 10 games, while for Brooklyn Nets, they have only won 4 times out of their last 10 games. Must be because of the injuries that they had. For Detroit Pistons, multiple injuries. For Brooklyn Nets, KD. Now, talk about health and talk about availability of the players. Here we go. For Brooklyn Nets, KD is still out, while Sharp is listed as questionable. While for Detroit Pistons, uh, we have Corey Joseph and Bagley both confirmed out, and we have Isaiah Livers and Isaiah Stewart both listed as questionable. So even though the best player of Brooklyn Nets is out, we would still have to give the advantage towards Brooklyn Nets as there are more players out for Detroit Pistons and possibly out a total of 4 players listed down here. Now, if we would count Cade Cunningham as out for the rest of the season, that will be a total of 5 players injured for Detroit. Um, this one's tough because Brooklyn Nets is evidently the better team. They are the better team. They are on top 4 of the East, and Detroit Pistons is the dead last team in Detroit. I mean, in the Eastern Conference. But what makes this hard, just like in my previous video, is the spread. The spread that is given is 9 points. Now, just like what I said earlier, Brooklyn Nets, they went into a battle against Philadelphia 76ers last night. For me, that was a very tiring game because, again, they were down by a huge margin, but they were able to keep it close. They were able to tie the game towards the end part of it, but eventually Philadelphia still won. But bottom line, that was a tiring game. So on this game, I'm expecting Brooklyn Nets to have some tired legs, but of course, maybe they would still have that, some momentum coming onto this game, even though they lost, because again, they played well towards the second half of that game. So maybe they would have a very good first quarter and all that, but Detroit Pistons should be able to take advantage of which somewhere in the middle part or in the third quarter. I think Brooklyn Nets would have enough firepower to actually to actually win the game, but I'm gonna roll my dice with Detroit Pistons with that spread of +9. I normally do that for Detroit Pistons. I just stopped doing that whenever they go up against a very strong team. Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't saying Brooklyn ain't strong, but they don't have KD. They are tired, so I'm going to take my chances. So my pick on this one would be Detroit Pistons +9. It will be very great if both Stewart and uh, Durant would actually be available inside for Detroit Pistons because the combination of those two gives them a lot of rebounds and a very good defense in the paint. Again, that's Detroit +9. Peace out, Pasay love, and God bless.